Davy Jones is often regarded as the best-looking CGI character of all time. But why? He was the first character to use on-set motion capture technology, which basically meant his actor Bill Nye could show up on set in costume and physically interact with the cast. No tennis balls, no guessing where the eye line was, just real-time reactions. But that meant that every other character after him had access to the very same technology, mind even better ones. So why there were characters after him that looked like this? Why did they stop improving? In this video we will discover why Davy Jones worked so well, why others flopped, and why the secret ingredient goes way beyond just CGI, and figure out once and for all why he still stands as the undisputed king of photorealism. A huge part of why Jones feels so real is because the character doesn't rely on big dramatic action set pieces or over-the-top villain speeches. No, the focus is emotionality. Underneath the slick tentacle beard and drenched sea monster vibes, Jones is just a guy. A tortured, broken man twisted by regret. And all of that is portrayed through a surprisingly delicate performance, aided by some serious technical wizardry behind the scenes. Because with that on-set motion capture setup, Bill Nye could infuse Jones with something a lot of other CGI villains lack: humanity. And unlike most CG villains who are wheeled out just for action and one-liners, Jones spends most of his screen time talking, not fighting. In that man's chest, he doesn't even have a single action sequence. Think about that, a fully CG character, and every scene he's in is dialogue, emotion, and reaction. That's rare, that's bold, and that's a massive reason why we buy into him. But a good performance isn't enough. You can have the best actor in the world, but if the CGI doesn't hold up, the whole thing falls apart. And here's where most people get it wrong. They assume it's just the motion capture that does all the work. Like, oh yeah, they just slapped Bill Nye's performance onto a CG rig and called it a day. But that's not how it works, not even close. Motion capture is never good enough by itself. It's just a jumping off point. What you see on screen, that's the result of hours, sometimes weeks, of animators hand tweaking every detail. And studios, they don't love to talk about that part. It's easier to say we used mocap than to admit an entire team had to reanimate it frame by frame to make it work. So what gave Jones the edge? If everyone's using the same tools, why did he turn out so perfect? I started this channel because of my love for movies and the passion to create them. The same goes for my books, which I actually just got delivered, and to be honest, it is even better than I expected, even though I have written it. So if you enjoy good storytelling as much as I do, check them out and let me know what you think. Simple, the artists didn't waste time. They did everything they could to hide as much of his skin as possible. And that's smart, because skin is hell to render realistically. It stretches, wrinkles, discolors, it's a mess of tiny moving parts. And the more you show, the more your CG has to simulate. That's why characters like Thanos or Azog the Defiler are so tricky. Their whole bodies are on display. But Jones? The man's basically wearing a full CG coat and hat, with only his face exposed. That meant that the VFX team could pour all their energy into making his face work, which, let's be honest, is the part that matters most for emotional storytelling. And then there's the tentacle beard, the real stroke of genius. Not only did it let animators avoid the uncanny valley by covering his mouth and jawline, two of the hardest parts of the face to animate believably, but it also gave them something narratively rich to play with. It wasn't just there for the show. See, the beard wasn't just a cool design choice. It was a strategic dodge around a massive problem in CGI, the uncanny valley. This is a real, documented phenomenon. Basically, the closer something looks to a real human, without quite getting there, the more our brains reject it. It's like a glitch in the matrix. Something looks almost real, but not quite. And your brain goes, nope, that's creepy, that's wrong. Why? Because we spent our lives looking at human faces. We are hyper trained to spot the tiniest, weirdest little inconsistencies. So once something is just close enough to human, our subconscious kicks in and starts dissecting it, finding every flaw. That's why full CG humans still struggle to feel totally real without tools like deepfakes. But with Davy Jones, that tentacle beard saves him. It's because no one actually knows what a realistic tentacle beard is supposed to look like. So instead of judging him against a mental database of human faces, our brains just accept it. It's weird, it's alien, but it works. And by pulling Jones just far enough away from human, the design skips right past the uncanny valley, letting your brain relax and believe what it's seeing. He plays the organ with it, he kills with it, there's even a key hidden inside it. All of that you couldn't just do with CGI, so unlike characters like Azok, where the CG feels pointless, Jones uses it to unlock genuinely unique moments. But however cool it looked, it came with its own set of nightmares for the VFX team. The thing is, you couldn't just slap on a few pre-made animations and call it a day. Each tentacle had to move like it was alive, sticky, slimy, a bit gross, but also semi-independent. It couldn't just flap around randomly. So what did they do? They wrote entirely new programs just to calculate the behavior of those tentacles. Yeah, whole new systems built from the ground up purely to figure out how they would move, how they would cling to things, react to air or water, and still feel like part of Jones' emotional expression. It's not the kind of effort you usually see unless someone is building a new physics engine for a video game. But here, they did it for one character's beard, and that level of care stands out. And by keeping the emotional landmarks, the eyes, the brow, the upper face fully visible, the beard lets Jones be expressive without triggering the weird instincts in our brains that tell us something's off. It's a clever dodge and it works. Now here's a little something extra that often gets overlooked: sound design. Jones' voice is soaked in reverb and subtle squelches that make him feel like he is damp just to listen to. You can hear the sea on his breath.
Damn you, Jack Sparrow!
His movements squish and slop, his boots thud in waterlogged steps. That sort of audio texture makes the visuals more believable because your brain gets fooled on multiple fronts. It's not just good CGI, it's a full sensory experience. Anyway, let's keep going. The next one is lighting, and it's also very critical. Davy Jones is usually shot under one of two conditions: bright Caribbean sun or moody shadow. Both are ideal. Shadow hide flaws, and sun that bounces light off his wet skin, masking imperfections in dazzling reflections. It's why Transformers look so good in daylight as well. Metallic reflectivity hides a lot. And don't even get me started on subsurface scattering, the tricky little phenomenon where light bounces inside skin and creates that soft, milky glow. Super hard to do as well. But if your character is always wet, you don't have to simulate it perfectly. Water does the job for you. Another cheat, another win. From real sets and stunts to build nice natural height matching the one of the character, every choice was optimized for believability. And honestly, a lot of the credit goes to Gorg Verbinski, the director who actually came from a VFX background himself. He knew the boundaries, he knew what not to ask of the tech and how to play to its strengths. And that's the thing, Davy Jones isn't just a product of good technology. He is what happens when everyone is on the same page. The performance, the animators, the lighting, the storytelling. It all works together. In short, he's not just a great CG character, he is the perfect case study for how to stack the odds in your favor. Modern films could stand to learn a thing or two, not necessarily by copying him, but by understanding what made him work and why. Anyway, your thoughts? Have any characters surpassed, in your opinion, Jones since then? Drop your take in the comments. See you next time.